Hey everybody, welcome to Movies Worth Talking About, where we talk and talk and talk about movies. I'm John Carlos, and I am joined by
Annie!
and we're going to talk about M3GAN or M3GAN, however you want to
Mm-hmm.
pronounce the M before the three.
Mm-hmm.
M3GAN, uh, which came out in January, but I didn't get the impulse to like want to discuss it until I found out that they were doing the unrated cut. Simply because like it was very well publicized leading up to it that like it's a PG-13 movie, but it wasn't originally shot to be PG-13.
Right.
And Jason Blum even said, like, I think the PG-13 version is actually like the superior, like, and I'm like, oh, I'll be the fucking judge of that, sir. Because nine times out of 10, if you take the same movie but make it gorier, I'm gonna be like, this is clearly the better version. Um, and I have some thoughts on that in a moment. But yeah, I wanted to see, well, what did we shoot for? What's the difference? Spoiler alert, there's not much of a difference, which is fine. Um, but anyway,
Nothing I
that was,
noticed.
but
Nothing I
that's,
noticed.
but that's what I'm like. Well, once I found out that there was going to be the unrated edition, I'm like, oh well, I want to see that, and then talk about it, talk about the
Mm,
differences, and then it turns out there's not really many,
yeah.
but I like it. I'm going to start there.
Okay. I mean, it's interesting, like seeing the uncut, the unrated version, and doing this pod as opposed to doing it like right off the heels of seeing it when it was in theaters, because I had a lot of fun with it. My expectations when I went into the theater were on the floor, because most January releases, although that seems to be changing now,
It's
but most,
changed, yeah.
yeah. But most of the time, January releases, I don't get my hopes up for. I don't look forward to them being, this kind of like astonishing experience in cinema, or even all that much fun. Sometimes they're a real bummer, and you're just kind of like, well, there's okay, that's the life of the horror fan. You gamble your money,
Mm-hmm.
you pays your time, and you can't get it back. And I didn't feel that way. I was actually really pleasantly surprised. And then we streamed it on a movie weekend, and if if I'd known it was going to be that close, I might have said, let's do it separately. Because I was looking forward to something new too. And I still feel everything I felt about it before. Like, I think it's competently made. I think it looks great. I think it's a fun ride. But I'm just less enthusiastic about revisiting it now. Because, well, just because I wouldn't have watched it this close again, this close in this close a proximity, if
Mm.
I'd known that there was going to be so little changed. If I would have seen something that would have like paid off, I would have been like, fuck yeah, okay, awesome. But it was just the same movie. I think the way you put it was a few more fucks,
Yeah,
and that's exactly, I mean, I didn't even notice that. That's the thing. After it was over, I was like, what did they change? Was the ear
well,
always in? The
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 ear was
stretchy
in.
ear? I thought so. So I don't know.
I haven't gone back to compare. Let's just get we'll make that our starting topic.
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, there was no new scene, and someone in the comments can correct me, but not only were there no new scenes, but I think I read that it's technically like 15 seconds shorter.
Right.
Um, yeah, like the guy, instead of asking for like kombucha, asks for a fucking kombucha. We're gonna kick Hasbro in their fucking dick. Like, there was three fucks by some people, and then Megan says fuck once towards the end. And what else? There's just more. There's like I wouldn't even say like the scenes were shot differently. Like you see like a horror movie where like we shot a plate that has a little bit of guts coming out, and then there's another plate, and like
Mhm.
people are biting on stuff. It's just the same shot of a guy in an elevator getting spritzed with blood versus not getting spritzed with blood. The lady
Mhm.
getting the little power wash to the face, like it's a little more grotesque, but it's like the same shots. They're just have more blood in them. Nothing drastic. In fact,
No.
I haven't gone back to compare, but like it feels like when she stretches the ear, I think more blood comes out.
Okay.
But when the little boy runs and gets hit by the truck, there's like a red smear on the ground, and I'm like, was that a theatrical cut or did they make it a bloodless smear? I don't remember, but I mean,
Neither do
it's
I.
literally just some blood sprays, which is all digital. The lady's face getting burned away. It's digital. I don't know if I'm
Mhm.
gonna. It didn't leave me deflated.
Mhm.
If anything, it was kind of nice to be like, oh, well, then, like, story, this was always the movie. It
Mhm.
isn't like when you go to a director's cut and some scenes are in different orders, or this fleshes out a relationship, and why would you cut that out?
Mhm.
Or like, here's a great example: Batman v Superman. Theatrical cut doesn't make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Extended cut, I'm like, why would you cut this out?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why would you cut any of this out? Now your
Mhm.
story is a story. I didn't
And
have
it's
that
a
with that.
half hour longer. They actually cut stuff out to make. Anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, at no point did I also go, "Oh my god, it's so cool with the blood." Like, it's
No.
fine. It's whatever. It's whatever.
I
It's no
didn't
different.
walk away from one thing in the unrated cut going like, wow, that wasn't in the last movie. I literally had no clue.
Yeah,
I had to ask you, and that's a shame. I mean,
so much so
yeah.
that I don't want to say Jason Blum was right, but this was a very easy movie to turn into PG-13.
Yeah.
You know, uh, so if anyone was out there who's like really geared up for it, like, it's whatever.
Yeah, sorry. At least
Yeah,
if you want to see it again, it's streamable on Peacock, so take
I'm not
advantage of that.
I'm not shitting on it, and I always
Yeah.
prefer more blood, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
But the movie itself, though, the
Yeah.
movie itself is a solid time, and it's something that I definitely want to talk about because I don't talk about this sort of thing a lot. But a lot of the movies that we've picked in the past to do episodes on, I'm like, holy shit, Return of the Living Dead. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Oh my God, we got to talk about Scream. And if we
Yeah.
ever talk about something shitty, it's usually because it's part of a franchise
Hmm.
and I'm kind of tethered to having to talk about the Texas Chainsaw sequels, but I would never just on my own be like, hey, let's shit on something.
Right.
But what we don't talk about a lot is when I watch a movie and go, yeah, it was good.
Hmm.
Hmm. But you know what? Like, there's value in like a movie that's just like, OMG, it's not my favorite movie ever. It's just like, good job. I like that. It was neat.
Yeah.
Thanks. Like, and sometimes that can be just as hard of a landing to stick.
Hmm.
Because I mean, the screenplay, I'm forgetting the writer's name, but she wrote *Malignant*.
I can get it for you. Keep
And
talking.
but God bless her, I want her to keep writing horror movies
Hmm.
because *Malignant*, although she didn't come up with the story, but she took a what the fuck story and made a very enjoyable movie out of *Malignant*.
Akila Cooper.
There we go. I want her to keep going because I like what she's serving.
Yeah.
Well, wait, do I like this movie more than you?
No, because you brought up Malignant, so I'm just kind of like,
Oh, okay.
I was kind of with that movie overall. Like I liked a
Oh,
lot more of it for different reasons than
yes.
you did. And then
You
when it
bought
started, yeah,
Act One, Act
I
Two,
bought into Act One, Act Two. So by the time we reach Act Three, I was like, well, I was watching that. And
and I was like,
whereas
Act One, Act Two.
yeah,
Oh my
right.
God, Act
Yeah,
Three.
right. So we had
Yeah,
very different experiences there. And if
but
something
with
doesn't pay off for me at the end, I'm less likely to get enthused about it. If it's harder to end a movie than it is to bake the middle. So
it,
because I just out of sheer volume of movies that I've seen that where I'm along for the ride for Act One and Act Two, and then Act Three just kind of farts it out and it's just kind of like here. And I don't think *Malignant* farts it out.
no,
Yeah, but it just goes in a direction where I'm just kind of like, well, that you were doing the other thing so well.
no, it doesn't farts it out. It took me to dinner. It stuck its tongue down my throat. It you know
Oh,
tickled me somewhere, and I went,
oh
"Thank you,
boy.
movie."
Oh
Yeah,
God, no,
I
not
just
me.
like to make you uncomfortable, Eddie.
Yeah,
So,
mine was mine was non-consensual. I was just kind of like, get your hands off me. But
and I
with
was like,
this,
"No, put your tongue in my throat. This is neat."
yeah,
Woo,
with this movie, it was like, okay, sure. I'm on the app, and it's like, okay, I'll swipe right on this guy. and then you go out for the evening, you barely make an effort, but then you find out you have a few things in common, and before you know it, you're hashing out like a 3.5 hour conversation. He's not like the be all end all, but it went better than you were expecting, and that's who M3GAN is to me. I'm just kind of like, I'd see you again.
I would definitely see. Not, I mean, I've seen the movie twice now, but I would also happily see sequels to this.
Me too.
So I would definitely see it again.
Although, question though, before we dive into like the nuts and bolts of this movie, because it's just I don't want to forget later. They announced the sequel already.
Yeah,
and they announced that Gemma and Kate are going to be attached to it.
Are they? I haven't read that.
Yeah, they solidified that they're going to be attached to it. So yeah, how do you feel about that?
I could take it either way.
Okay.
First off, I would say, unlike a lot of horror movies, and both on the pod and in real life, most of the time, that first movie to me doesn't need to be franchised.
Sure.
This is one of the rare cases where, like, I watched that first one, I'm like, you could sequelize the fuck out of this. Like, this can and should be franchised.
Yeah. Now that she's in Siri or the cloud, yeah.
Between the guy at work copying the files,
yes,
and her being in the cloud, you have two ways that you can go with it. On the one hand, I'll always want to watch Allison Williams do stuff.
Okay.
So sure. And if it also means, because I love me a good, it's one of my favorite themes in movies. You may be through with the past, but the past ain't through with you. The villain that you created, that you didn't know, So I feel like, sure, she went through emotional growth with her, pseudo daughter, but I still like the idea of a sequel where you still have to pay, like M3GAN, whether Gemma truly pays for it, but has to go through the ringer again. Like, you fucked up, and I think there is something to be mined there for continuing that story.
Okay.
However, I'd prefer to see new characters.
That was my obviously they left it open-ended, so there could be a sequel, and I was ready to see a sequel straight out the gate. Like right after it was over, I was like, you could have literally tacked on, like, given me an intermission and then tacked on an extra 90 minutes, and I would have sat through it. But because I was having a good time. That said, what I think in terms of a sequel, knowing that it wasn't going to happen immediately, all I could think was, I don't want this to become like the Gemma, Kate, and M3GAN show. Like, I'd prefer it if I remember thinking I'd prefer it if the sequel takes place with her in another scenario, trying to kind of like single white female it, like find another twin ship, as it were, with a new person, and just kind of like each sequel could be like her racking up a list of people it just didn't work with until we have kind of like an Avengers of M3GAN, like where all the survivors have to band together and and fight her, and maybe there's an army of M3GANs, not to rip off Cult of Chucky too much.
No, in fact, I will say my idea for a title was M3GANs. Like, it's right there.
Go there. Yeah.
But M3GAN 2.0, I get it. But I mean, I really just wanted M3GANs. No, I like that idea that's always, it's sad it never happened, but the sequel comic to the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash comic, which was based on the unproduced screenplay of the same name, had like all these random survivors from Nightmare and Friday the 13th as like one group. And I'm like, that's cool. So if a franchise could have the wherewithal to like actually go there, that'd be neat.
Yeah.
But my dream scenario is, because I don't even think about how many you do. I just know what I'd do for the next round. And that is, well, first of all, I'm fine with Gemma coming back, just not as the lead role.
Okay.
Like, if you have a whole other scenario, and then like in the third act, she kind of comes in and tries to help, and like, or in a third movie, she can come back. I just don't need her to be the star.
Or I even had this thought, like, if they do come back, because I knew there was a chance, If they do come back. I'm usually not okay with this, but I'm fine with them going the way of kind of like the horror sequels we grew up with, where they kill them off way too soon, where like the first kill of M3GAN
Oh,
2.0 is
Friday the
Gemma
13th
and
part
Kate.
2.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
And she just shoves an ice pick in their heads, and
Oh, that'd be great. No,
yeah.
like I was so happy that like Hostel Part 2 carried that on.
Right.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that'd be
I
cool.
would
I'd be
appreciate
okay with
that.
that.
Hmm.
Okay. No, my little brain, and it just popped into my head, and I'm sticking with it. Is I want to go the Nightmare on Elm Street 2 route, where I want the male lead. I
Ooh.
think there's something to be said, especially in this day and age, especially when people push back against like the de-pinkifying and bluifying of toy aisles and everything,
Mm-hmm.
where like make the main character a boy
Yeah.
who wants to play with a dolly. And
Oh.
and when people are like, get the fucking doll, and like M3GAN kind of turns her head and like,
Oh my God.
now she's
Yeah.
protecting boy, and she understands, like that. To me, that material and that subtext and all the ways you can go with it thematically, like give me that movie now.
She would become even more of a gay icon than she is now.
Right.
And I'm here for it. Like I would embrace that absolutely. That actually would make me really, really happy. See, that's why there's more stories to be told. There's more ways to kind of like,
Yes.
now that you know what this is and how it's affecting like which community and everything like that, play to that audience, as opposed to just kind of like, I'm worried. I think that M3GAN 2.0 is going to be just kind of like a recycling. Like, let's take what we think worked about the first one and just make it again. Like maybe they won't, but I don't know. I'm just show me some blood. Show me
Yeah. Well,
and show me some new names.
that's one thing I'm looking forward to. If you follow the thing of like the sequel is you take the stuff that works and amplify it,
Yeah.
like hypothetically, like you could already make M3GAN 2.0 better than M3GAN 1. You could just make it knowingly queerer,
Yeah.
bloodier, campier. Because again, this isn't a bad thing, but like it's a very like PG-13,
Yeah.
like on the dial of like how crazy is it? Like I don't know, it's like at a 6. It's a good 6 as far as the
Yeah.
wackiness. But there's nowhere to, and that premise allows you to turn it up to a 7 or an 8.
Absolutely.
To add your John Waters cameo, to add a Glendale, you know what I mean? Like to really go there with it and
go nuts.
Well, the thing that makes me nervous is that, like, okay, well, people like when she sang Titanium, they like the little dance number, so now she's gonna dance more and she's gonna sing like Katy Perry song or something, and I'm like, no, don't do it. And then I go, no, wait, do it.
Yeah.
The impulse, those impulses actually would serve this movie better.
And have her do it with an audience that's like wild about it, just like,
yeah,
M3GAN.
Well, I'm glad you brought up, because there's something where I saw the movie, it came out, I had my opinion on it, and then on SNL they did this skit about how she's a gay icon, and as I don't know how to word this sentence. As much as I know plenty of gay people and have some awareness of what the culture is, I'm clearly not in the culture. So M3GAN, like when I watched SNL, I went, oh, she's a gay icon? I didn't know this. And you and I hadn't talked. And I tried to think back on the movie, and I'm like, I mean, what about... So when I watch it a second time, and every time she'll be like, and shoots a little look, and then I hear you be like, oh, like, okay, I guess I get it, but that's a preamble for me to ask, not like you are ambassador of the gays.
Right.
But tell me, in your individual experience, what about this movie makes it quote unquote like such a queer beloved thing?
Honestly, for me personally, in addition to like all of the oohs and ahs, I mean, they definitely make her fierce. And it's all about like her walking in the door, taking those sunglasses off, and just like, how can I fuck this place up? And we're like, yes, Diva. But But the thing for me, because I'm, I'm an older gay getting older every day. And I remember thinking relatively early in my first screening, just kind of like thinking, I'm all for her the way I'm all for Frankenstein's monster. You know, she didn't ask to be created. She didn't ask to be programmed to serve this purpose. She's doing what she was programmed to do and pushing past those parameters. And because everyone around her seems to have a problem with that, I feel like there's an inherent closet metaphor going on about like spreading your wings as wide as you can, feeling really truly pushing the limits of your power to recognize exactly how powerful you are. And I think that's why for me she's kind of like this accidental hero, because also it's all done out of a means of connection with another person. She is literally doing what she was created for, unlike Frankenstein's monster, who there was a lot of confusion. He couldn't learn fast enough. He walked backwards in the dark, but when the light came, he would reach for it. So he had these impulses and inclinations that he didn't understand, and nobody really took the time ever to teach him. And then the killing, the accidental killing, or the stop screaming and killing, started happening. That made him all very innocent in my eyes. But what I love about M3GAN is there's not an innocence. There's no apology behind her eyes for anything that she has to do. She's kind of just making the most out of the situation she's been put in. And I think that's one thing I really love also, is because again, it's fierce, the tilt of the head and the way she'll look at, say, Gemma or anyone who challenges her. But she's not just like looking at them in a way that's like, even though it's exactly this, of course she's looking at them in a way that determines, oh shit, you're going to pay for that, but she's also looking at them in an inquisitive way, like in a way that's like, oh, like borderline, what, like General Zod, like, why do you say this when you know I will kill you for it, kind of It's inquisitive, like, I mean, here you've given me all this access and all of this power, and you're not even afraid of what I might be really capable of, like you're acting like you're still the one in charge. That's interesting.
Sidebar, Eddie.
Yeah.
I need M3GANs where like one of them is next to the one who's befriended someone, and it's like, she cares for them. She actually cares for them. And the other M3GAN's like pets?
Yes.
Also. That's I never sorry, any General Zod thing, and I just
of course. Where maybe she won't have laser eyes or anything, or maybe she will, who knows, but she does something incredible and says and this is a new M3GAN, says to another M3GAN, like, did you see that? Did you see what I did? I have powers beyond reason. Yes, we all do, my dear. And then they all walk out, because it should be M3GANs, but you know what they should do? They should wait until the 5th movie, I guess, to have the M3GAN army, so it can be M3GAN 5 that like digitally kind of like keeps morphing into an S.
Yes.
Yeah, they should do that. I'm all for that. Anyway,
but
did that answer your query?
It did. Well, it makes me want to go watch the movie again. Yeah, because I never really thought about the fact that she's, for lack of a better term, born this way. Yeah. And that, her programming, all she's trying to do is essentially connect with someone else. And the cis het keeps trying to get in her way. Gemma just keeps trying to.
And it's that's another thing that I admired about the screenplay, actually, because I expected it just to be like, okay, spooky doll moves in and she's going to start killing people. Okay. Seen it on Sci-Fi, taped it, But here I'm watching it, and what I love is when she gets into what turns out to be, I guess, is it the final show? I don't even remember how it ends now. But basically, when she starts to really throw down with Gemma and not hold back, and she's doing the thing where she's holding Gemma's face down on the table and like,
in the dining room,
go to sleep, Katie, and all that stuff. Don't ask any questions, just go. I'm fine. But when she's doing all of that, the first thing that like really starts to kind of like kick off the confrontation between the two of them is also that M3GAN felt this connection with Gemma. She was like, here you created me and I did everything, and here you just throw me away, you know, like just tape me up and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, you're right. That's another thing. Everything that Megan says, I'm like, you're absolutely right. So fuck all y'all. Maybe that's why I don't want to see Gemma and Katie come back, because Katie, although I everything that happens to Katie, I feel bad for her too. I feel like her and M3GAN are actually in kind of like the same boat. They're both like subject to the adults who are fumbling their way through, you know, kind of like trying to direct their fates and everything like that, and doing a horrible job. So yeah, you got that there too. I don't know.
I mean, I'm glad you brought up the parallels that she has, Gemma, and the fact that you're going in expecting potentially a Sci-Fi Channel movie, because it's one of the things I like about Akilah Cooper. Her script is that I don't want to say like it's better than it has any right to be, but when you hear the words "killer doll movie," you're like, okay. And just the fact that they attempted to write characters who have problems and baggage, that lessons have to be learned, and that they actually have arcs and things pay off. Like, you know, it's a real movie, and it's actually like a real good movie.
Yeah.
So God bless them for that.
Yeah, because they can't all be Don Mancini, and I wasn't expecting it to be. And then I'm sitting there, I'm just kind of like, it's not Don Mancini, but it's different and different and good. Good for them, you know.
I'm not jumping on board with the like instantly iconic just because like her dance videos are popular on TikTok. But I will say I like the character, and I'm curious how time will tell, and with more a sequel or two, you know, not to be a snob, but like maybe she can earn the word iconic. But like it's a really good start for me. One of the things that Jason Blum talked about was wanting to do an Avengers movie of dolls. Because he's like, you know, we work with Universal. Universal's got Chucky, and we have her, and you know, my problem with, and there's so much fan art out in the horror community, and you see this a lot, where it's like Annabelle, Brahms, Billy the Puppet, Chucky, Megan, and I'm like, Annabelle is just a static doll that's a conduit for things. Brahms in the first movie is just a doll that sits there. We're not going to talk about the sequel. Billy the Puppet isn't an active thing. It's just a program voice. So of these 5 dolls, you've got 2 that are actual characters and 3 that are just things. And then if you want to bring it, I personally would say you bring in the little killer doll from Trilogy of Terror. That's fun.
I don't know if you can now, though. Offensive. Racially charged. Let's just put it that way.
You put that into the script. You make that part of the movie.
Okay.
But what I'm getting at is, I don't know. I would like to see if you use Jason Blum's onto something, only because I do like the idea of Chucky and Megan meeting. Just because she's so like, he is verbally very explosive, and she's, you know, to me it's like fire and ice.
They're 2 incredibly different vibes.
And I can see him mouthing off and just like her shooting him a glance. And I can also see her trying to understand what the fuck she's dealing with. And I also love the idea of just his first impression before he gets to know her is something of like, like I want him to be enamored. And then they end up fighting. If they wanted to do it, I wouldn't be upset at it.
Also, well, because also her like cyborg capabilities, her access to the internet and everything like that, he's existed for decades now, so she has like all of this background information through like, you know, newspaper articles that have been written, and maybe even like records, you know, police records, all of that kind of thing. Like, maybe she'd be a little fascinated to meet him, because his power isn't man-made. Well, I mean, it's not man-made. It's merely man-accessed. So I feel like that's the only reason she might keep him around, is because his power source is different than her own. As far as, but it would be, see, that's why I'd like to see an army of them, is because I'd really like to see how I love how the Chuckies interact with each other and everything
Yeah.
like that. And even they even have that moment of just, I've never felt so alive in Cult of Chucky. But I would love to see like how does she interact, and also because M3GAN also, they have all the different skin tones and all the different hair styles and consistencies and everything like that. I would love to see just like this multicultural army of dolls, these young girl dolls, like
if they've been
taking power.
exposed to different environments of people, and that's how they're learning and adapting,
Right.
you can start to get different personalities. Maybe not drastic, because
But
I still want them to feel like M3GAN. But
well, because then they can make references to like things that
but one can be a
through
little
their
more
experiences and stuff.
icier, or puts
Yeah,
up less
yeah,
bullshit than another.
yeah.
Also, I just like the idea of because there's something to be said in there about Chucky being analog. Like, I just stab people with stuff, and she's very modern, and she can do smart cars, and like
Yeah,
analog versus
yeah,
digital, 21st century versus,
yeah.
there's something to be done there. Speaking of which, literally like 3 or 4 times throughout the movie, I just kept thinking, oh, this is what the Child's Play remake like wanted to be.
Exactly. Yeah,
Oh, and then when it was over, I'm like, well, that was everything the Child's Play remake tried to be.
yeah.
Um, as far as like setting up a literal mom, and in this case, like a maternal figure.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they're both smart toys, the
Mm-hmm.
fact that they both latch onto the person that they like want to protect and is their friend, and
Yeah,
the obsession, and even the fact that she dives into like a smart car and can control it. I'm like, oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah.
The big reveal at there's the event to the toy store. Like, it's just
Mm-hmm.
everything that
Yeah.
remake wanted to be, but good.
Yeah. Also, that's another thing. It's like I noticed one of the things that got her hugely right was the fact that like her evil, or whatever evil as it were, was all born out of like being of service, and like as we perceive, maybe misunderstanding what that meant or whatever, or taking it too far. Whereas the issue we brought up in our pod that we recorded about the Child's Play reboot was, when we covered the whole franchise, was just the fact that like he basically learned violence from watching horror movies.
Yeah.
And Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which I took huge issue with.
Yep.
Whereas in this movie, I'm on board. I'm like, girl, go for it. So yeah, that makes all the difference. Um yeah, I didn't know you were such an Allison Williams stan.
Yeah. Well, I liked Girls,
Yeah, me too.
and I thought she was really good in it.
Yeah.
And then every time she shows up in the movie, I'm like, you're good. Like, it's not, maybe we don't talk about it, but I don't think it's a stretch to be a fan of an actress. Like, she's good. I don't know.
No. No, it's just okay. Didn't know
But yeah, in
because
real life, you and I don't, talk about like like, like you're a Mads Mikkelsen fan, and we've discussed
right.
it. But yeah, no, I am 100% here for Allison Williams, like, all the time.
Okay, fun.
Yeah.
Time of my life.
I do like that even as Blumhouse has found success, like, let's go
Mhm.
back to the beginning of it with like Insidious and the paranormal sequels, and it's like we have a model, and that model is we shoot in a house, and then when they start getting successful, like, now we shoot in 2 houses.
Yes.
And then, like, what a big deal it was when like the Purge Anarchy was like, we're gonna actually shoot like downtown, and we're gonna shoot in
Right.
locations, and really like
Yeah.
start doing stuff. But every once in a while, like, because they've produced some more prestige stuff, or Get Out and Whiplash, and
Yeah.
but Get Out, I forget who pointed it out, that like Get Out's so good, and for my money, Get Out's one of the best goddamn movies I've seen in the last 10 years. But Get Out is so good
Mhm.
that you don't notice that it's another Blumhouse movie that takes place in one house. And I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it is just another Blumhouse movie that takes place in one house, but like a really, really, really good version of that.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that after all these years, they still managed to kind of do that.
Yeah.
Because like this isn't a criticism per se, but it really felt like the movie was building when they talked about the launch and the launch party, and they're decorating the lobby, and like, we need more people here, we need more kids, and like, I'm like, here's where our climax is. And then she like kills a couple people by the elevator, and then she walks out the lobby, and I went, oh, where the fuck are we going? Turns out we're going back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And it just reminded me, I'm like, you're watching a Blumhouse movie.
Uh-huh.
We need to go back to the house, because the house is going to be a lot easier and probably cheaper to shoot in than this big lobby.
Right.
And having all these actors and the screaming and the running, like, no, we're going to have 2 actors and a doll. Like, okay. However, the climax works for me, but it wasn't quite a rug pull, but I was really expecting the climax to be the toy launch.
Oh, really?
It's not. Yeah.
Oh.
Did you not feel like that's where it was all building towards?
I knew Bruce was going to have to figure into it, and Bruce lives back at the house.
True.
So yeah, I mean, again, I was too in it to like even kind of like go like, they're going to go back to the house. You know, I was just going, but once they got back to the house and
Just
once they got, yeah. But once they got, I was just goobing over it. But then once they got back to the house, I knew that like, especially when they were in like the shop area, I was just kind of like, oh, get Bruce. And then she does with the glove and everything. I'm like, yes, because Bruce can tear her apart, because, oh, I shouldn't be rooting for this, because Bruce is essentially a slave. Like, he's essentially just, he's the robot who does what he's told, and who's, you know, just, you know, like doesn't give them any trouble or talk back or answer back. Well, and then I stopped feeling good about the ending.
I mean, I don't want to say that there's too much analyzing, you know, but like, I mean, I don't know, he has a CPU, but like, he also is designed, I don't think of him as like a robot, because he's supposed to be controlled. He's a puppet. He's I don't know,
he's a lobotomized presence. He's
the wooden puppet, and like M3GAN is like I'm a real boy. Like,
yeah.
He had to walk so she could run.
I'm alive.
Yeah. She can run because he walked. But yeah, no, I was all for, I mean, I've seen a million horror movies to know that the second that he rips her in half and throws the torso, I'm like, well, that torso is coming right back. I had one thing I wanted at the start of the movie. I just thought, because when they showed, you know, like the bear robot, and they put the skin on its face, I just thought, man, the third act, I better get Terminator.
Yeah.
All I need from this movie is I need metal poking through that face. And that gave me what I wanted. It even gave me like the receding hairline. Like, the only thing, and this is the only, like, I loved the Terminator of it all, but Tracy did point out that like they throw a thing of water on her, and all of a sudden she's got the mascara running, and it's like, why?
Makeup?
It's not makeup, so why is it makeup? It's painted on. The doll is supposed to last for years.
Unless we go full Tiffany Valentine and have her like, call me, while she's like putting eyeliner on her.
But don't they show them like painting the face?
Yeah,
they're gonna, So like, I don't know. I get that we want her to have like, I'm a crazy girl look at the end. Yeah, and nothing says crazy girl more than like running makeup. But like, if we're gonna go by the logistics of the movie, that is a huge manufacturing flaw. If you're spending $10,000 on this doll, you shouldn't be able to just throw some water on it and like, oh no, the makeup ran off. That's some shitty paint.
And the only thing that I was kind of like thinking, oh, that would, it was afterwards, but I remember because I was thinking like, this was kind of camptastic compared to what I was expecting. But what would have made it just like even more scintillating for me is, even though I love that M3GAN's like all gung-ho and just kind of like, no one's gonna stop me, you know, attitude, it would have been hilarious if she could have caught her own reflection in the middle of like something she was doing, like maybe when she had like, if she had Katie in a chokehold, or you know, or like she's essentially won the day and just has to take her kill shot. But if she could have caught her reflection of herself in the mirror with her face falling off and everything like that, and if she could have had the capacity, like the mental capacity, if we can call it that, to recognize, oh my gosh, I've become a monster now, you know, like here I was, you know, created to like, you know, endow this child with not even self-sufficiency, but I guess self-worth, or, you know, just like, you know, to be here to parent her, essentially, to become her family. And now look what I've become. And if she could have just had a moment where she has to make a decision you know, what do I want to be? Do I want to go on being this monster, or do I want to be her friend or something like that? Because that, again, that's campy as fuck, you know. That's pay dirt for me, and I feel like it wouldn't be completely misplaced in a movie like this. So there you go.
To me, like, you could, I mean, the seeds for that are in this, they just don't go there, but now I want a second movie to really go there.
Right.
And I want it to be with, I still want it to be with a boy.
Yeah, that would be great, but I don't want to get
But
my
if
hopes
anything,
up.
I also want like everything that she's doing is what she thinks is protecting or helping, you know, her whatever she's paired to, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas if I did a sequel, I'd also want it to be, I'd almost want the main character to be aware that she's doing it on his behalf. You know,
Mm,
almost like I'm enjoying that you can take on my bullies, and
yeah.
then learning to not rely on that, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Megan can have a journey. The main character can have a journey. I don't
That's pretty cool. See, yeah, we have to stop writing the sequel, because
know.
then I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna be like, I didn't get any of the things I wanted. I'm gonna be like a brat on Christmas morning, you know? Like it's better with movies, it's better just not to make the list. Just don't make your Christmas list. Because if you don't get what you put on the list, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna sting.
Well,
Just
or also just don't put too much stock in your list and just go, okay, well, I had my idea. And
No, but I get excited about my lists. It's like if I
oh,
it's best just to, I mean, with actual Christmas morning, it's like, sure, here's a list. I'm not going to make you guess like what to get me. That's terrible. Get me something on that, or get me a gift card. I don't care. Like Christmas, I'm over it. But horror movie, metaphor Christmas, yeah, I got to just wake up in the morning and just see what's under the tree. And you know, I don't want to do the shake until like right before I open it. If I spend all this time building it up in my head, I'm going to be disappointed no matter what. Probably, given the direction the world has gone in thus far. You know, I'm getting very bleak now.
yeah. Just shut up and like the movie you get, Eddie. I don't know.
See, M3GAN wouldn't stand for that. She'd be like, she'd give you a list, a roster of all the flaws with the movie. Like your movie, you know, is, I don't know. She'd do one of those share lists in Witches of Eastwick where she tells like Jack Nicholson everything that's wrong with him and why she's not attracted to him. I want one of those from Megan.
You know what I want? You slipped into like this femme voice for like a half second and made me want to see like Megan live and pick up the ticks with like an overtly either a queer character or just like a suburban woman, but like I want her to pick up all like the Yas Queen, like all the things that like like without getting too sociopolitically into it, that things that maybe start in Black culture and then kind of become gay culture, or that originally start in gay culture and then get co-opted by just like culture at large.
Right, mainstream. Yeah.
And I want Megan to sort of be picking up on a lot of these ticks, and you can kind of use that as like a focus about, you know,
yeah,
suburban white culture taking other people, like, but through that, I don't know, there's just something I could see about like stuff that makes you go, oh, when Megan does it, and it's like you're supposed to go, oh, when some people do it. Like,
sure.
I think there's a lot you can do with her if you really wanted to.
Absolutely. And I just hope they don't over advertise for the sequel, because one thing I understand, like it worked commercially for the movie, like showing us her dance moves and everything like that. I mean, I'm sure they didn't expect it to go as viral as it did. I bet they hoped for it, but you can't ever plan for something like that people are just immediately going to start taking it as a challenge to go down a hallway and do a kind of cartwheel with no arms and then kick up against the wall.
Yeah.
But or the cosplaying before the movie ever got released, you know, like it already had like this, it amassed this following. Thank God the movie was decent.
Yeah.
But I couldn't help but think, like, what if I'd seen all those dance moves in context for the first time? If I didn't know that they were coming, because I had seen the trailer before I went to see the movie, so, and seen it, of course, in my story every other day for, you know, the months leading up to the movie's opening. And there were still surprises. Like the big surprise for me was when she did sing Titanium. I wasn't expecting that, so that was just kind of like, wow. Okay, they're going there.
P.S. I thought that was a fucking gas, man.
It was amazing. It
It
was
was.
because also it wasn't an outlier. It wasn't like this it came from somewhere contextually. I mean, okay, I'll tell you a story. I was upset once as a little boy, and my sister's 3 years younger than me. I don't remember how old we were. She might have been 6 or 7. So I must have been like 9 or 10. And I remember I was really bummed out. I don't know why. And my mom was trying to make me feel better, and it wasn't working. And my sister came over and she sat next to me and she put her arm around me and she just started singing to me. She just went, "Don't be sad. There's some day that you can do." And that's all she got to. And I collapsed on the floor laughing hysterically. Thank God I didn't hurt her feelings. But she was just like this sweet little girl, just thinking like, my brother's in pain. Little girls in movies do this. They put their arm around someone and say, "Don't be sad." And they sing a song that encourages them. The lyrics didn't make any sense. "There's some day that you can do," and that was the lyric. I never got to hear where it went after that. I wish I had. I wish I'd kept it together, because sing me that song. I may not even remember now. But at the time, yeah. So I mean, so just like the fact that she's singing to her to comfort her came from a very genuine place.
Yeah.
From my recollection, that was nice.
Yeah, that's it's funny because I've seen that beat in movies, but I didn't know that it affected little girls enough to think that's how the world is.
I mean, if you identify with the little girl who's there to make people feel better, and I know my sister did.
Yeah.
Well,
I just think it's neat that it literally does work as within the movie. It's the cheer up Charlie moment, but then in the bigger picture, it also is just, hey, isn't this fun? Like, I remember because this isn't like a barometer for anything, but it is something that makes you go or yay. But if you go through like Letterboxd on M3GAN, about every 4 or 5 reviews, it'll just be like, "OMG, when she sang Titanium, iconic." Scroll, scroll, scroll. Oh, Titanium, so iconic. I'm just like, well, it worked. I wish people didn't instantly jump to iconic just because a character sang a song, but it definitely connected.
That's one of the most overused words
I fucking hate
of recent years. I can't because
it's iconic this month. But let's talk about the bigger picture and find out if it's actually.
That's not what. But that's not how iconic works.
I know.
That's popular. That's in fashion. That's like of the moment. I would certainly say M3GAN was of the moment. January was definitely her month. She opened 2023 for us with a bang. But but guys, limit your iconic. But get it. Everybody should have a jar. And then just every time you misuse the word, or not even misuse, just use the word iconic, just you owe yourself like $1. You will amass so much money and buy yourself something special that will remind you, I don't want to say iconic anymore. Look how much money I saved. This could have gone for I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Go
on. No, but before I forget, because I mentioned some of the Blumhouse, and you brought up Allison Williams.
Yeah.
I think it was Mark Bernardin who pointed this out, that like Allison Williams is in a Blumhouse movie playing another shitty white lady.
Yeah.
Like in the sense that like, but specifically like in Get Out, you don't know whether you like her, but she's shitty because she's a bigot and a monster. And in this one, you don't know if you're going to end up liking her because she's making all these bad decisions.
Yeah.
Not that she's a monster herself, but ultimately, at least she seems to figure out, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Not just with making this doll, but like what I'm letting this girl, this emotional, like I fucked up. So at least there's a difference there. But I do like that in both. I didn't notice this the first time I saw it, but the second time we're watching it, and she's getting choked, and I'm like, oh, it's the end of the movie, and she's getting choked in a Blumhouse movie.
Yeah.
Because that's literally her last scene in Get Out. So I hope she keeps getting choked in Blumhouse movies. I want that to be her thing.
Okay. Nice. I mean, sure. I want that for you. In addition to that, like touching on like her arc and like the fact that she changes and everything like that. One thing that I really appreciated was the social commentary that I felt from the get-go, because the movie doesn't even open on them. It opens necessarily. It opens on that Perpetual Pets commercial.
Yes. Oh my God.
What a level of authenticity. It feels like that is exactly where we're headed, if not exactly where we are as as just like a global community, you know, with just kind of like, it's good that the child has the babysitter, the electronic, you know, who's a what's it that's going to like be there to occupy their time, their focus, to condition them, and to make, you know, all of these I don't know, saddle them with all of these disorders and all of these unhealthy connections and dependencies that we're not even cognizant of, because who's even paying attention to the kids. There was that they had when they tried selling M3GAN, I remember thinking they are really conscious of, like, Akilah Cooper in particular seems to be really conscious of the underlying message of like this movie, what it's saying, because the tagline for M3GAN was, she'll take care of the little things so you can focus on what's important.
Mm-hmm.
And that fucking killed me, because
Me
I was like,
too.
because you and I know, and I think most people know, I hope most parents, if not all parents, know the little things are what matters.
Are what matters. Yes.
Yeah. So the fact that that was a selling point for it, and that it was something that they were all excited about, and the fact that I didn't see any of the other people with kids either, that was interesting to me. So I mean, of the team that was like pushing this, with like Ronnie Chiang and Brian Jordan Alvarez and the other woman who was working on it, but I just love how much it made the movie loaded for there to be a lesson that didn't feel like it was pandery or you know, saccharine or anything like that. It felt like when they finally get to a point where they're communicating, it's exactly what I want to see happen between the two of them. It's like, it's about time.
Yes.
You know?
I can't help but wonder, like, I can observe the things of the movie and what it makes me feel when they say, you know, takes care of the little things so you can do the things that matter, as if wiping your kid's ass or whatever, that doesn't matter, but doing the big picture and the bills and the job or the whatever. And just missing that point. Fine. As a childless person, I can't help but wonder, though, how does that hit someone who does have kids, who struggles every day with balance? That's something I'll never relate to. I can, you know, I get it, I observe it. I'm never going to feel that in a way that, you know, my friends who have 2 or 3 kids and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So,
sure.
you know, I've yet to discuss this with anyone who, although most of my friends that have kids don't have fucking time to see movies. So sucks for them. So maybe I won't be talking about this with any parents anytime soon. But that is definitely something juicy to chew on. So juicy for the character within the movie. Because if there's anything, she's like, with that tagline, like, she has so much to learn that, again, like you're happy when they come together. If anything, I'm almost too upset at her at the beginning, where I'm like, you're pissing me off. Like, I'm not rooting for you. I'm just relieved when you finally get there, because, you know, when she mentions, like, well, she's not my child, I'm like, fuck, you're shitty. And why did you even accept her into your house then? Like, what are you?
Because she didn't want her to go to Florida.
I mean, that is a fun line.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want her to go to Florida either. But I mean, first of all, like, why even write the line about that other, like, the fact that you even give me another option from you, who's saying, like, well, I'm not her real parent, she's not my child. Like, after you say that, I kind of want her to go to Florida. That's how bad you are.
Or at least
Florida's a better option.
Yeah. You are worse than Florida. That's how bad you are, Gemma.
Yes.
That would have been great if M3GAN could have said that to her. Just kind of like you're worse than Florida. You know, that's the, okay, now you've gone too far, and then out comes the flamethrower. I don't know, but
she's
But
she's um she's got a lot of learning to do in this movie. Also, I'm gonna it's one thing, and I don't necessarily want to say one thing makes you a monster, but I feel like in this case it kind of does,
okay.
which is wasn't she talking about putting a shock collar on her neighbor's dog, or like
Oh
how she put?
yeah, 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 yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, a shock collar? Fuck off! I hate you.
Yeah.
If this is a horror movie, like within the first 10-20 minutes, she is shitty enough of a person
Hmm.
that like I think, oh, you're gonna die. And then the movie actually goes like, oh no, we're not gonna do that thing. She doesn't get comeuppance. She learns and becomes better. I go, oh, okay. But in the
Yeah.
first 10 minutes, she's talking about like this neighbor's dog. What does she even say? She says, first of all, she threatens putting the dog down.
Yeah.
They even state like, well, the state can't forcibly put a dog down. And she's like, well,
Hmm.
what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, why is killing a dog fucking? How about you fix the hole in your fucking fence?
Yeah.
He's always bitching about the dog coming onto her property and shitting. I'm like, well, if it's coming through the hole, fix the hole, but don't, I don't know, murder the dog.
Hmm.
I come from the John Wick school of like, oh, the dog dies, then you're fucking dead. So
Yeah.
like, she's not killing the dog, but like she wants to. Takes a
Yeah.
lot for me to forgive you, but you're Allison Williams, and the script goes a certain way.
Oh
Eh,
God.
the script, the script goes there, but you know.
I just thought she was Karening. That's all.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
But you
if
keep going, keep going, keep
no,
going.
but it's unfortunate though that you know the thing that I think makes her a monster,
Hmm.
which is wanting to kill a dog, and it turns out M3GAN, is the monster. And there's another thing between M3GAN and Gemma, Eddie.
Who is the real monster?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like who programmed Gemma to be that way? Although I have to say that's one thing I appreciate about Gemma though, is that I think it's after I can't remember exactly what it is that kicks her off. I think it was when she's showing off Bruce to Kate, and Kate starts talking about, she says something to the effect of like, if I had a toy like this, I wouldn't need any other toy or something like that.
Yep.
And then it's like the lightning bolt hits Gemma. And then she's all scribbling and scrolling and, all of this stuff and just inventing. But what it gave me early on for her that at least wasn't monstrous or neglectful or inadequate was she's a passionate nerd. And that made me like her a little bit more. I'm like, well, at least you're not neglecting the child and ignoring the child for nothing. You are
Right.
very consumed by your work. You obviously have a passion for it, and obviously it's where those gears in your mind, it puts them to work. So I can respect that on a level, but to a
I
point.
can too.
Yeah.
And also like I haven't spent a majority of my life raising kids, so sometimes when I'm put in a situation where there's a child around for an extended period of time, I
Yeah.
don't necessarily know how to take care or engage with them. So I get that as a starting point. Like she at least recognizes like I've got a lot of work to do. Are you gonna be okay here with the iPad for? And she even like knows it sucks that I'm leaving you for so long.
Right.
And she also knows enough that when she sees her poking head around the corner to like apologize, like I'm sorry I'm taking longer. Like that
Hmm.
this isn't great for her.
Yeah.
And then she does the smart thing, which is like starts engaging her with the interest of what's in the room. I'm like, this is where we could have
started.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, you mentioned that she is a nerd and that she has interests, but it's I mean, again, that's what makes her a flawed character, that you have to start to it gives her an obstacle to sort of get over. So
Hmm.
I don't know. If anything, that there's just so many little again, those are what make her human and
Hmm.
nice, but also like she wants to kill a dog,
Yeah.
and we see her going to Katie. Is it Katie?
Yeah.
They go
Kate's.
they show Kate and packing stuff at her house.
Yeah.
So when she gets to her house and she wants to play with her collectibles, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, there's collectibles," and I'm like, Why didn't you pack her fucking toys?
I know.
Like, she is a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Why weren't her toys packed?
I'd be like, okay,
Not all of them.
at least a top 5, at least to get her through the night and through maybe the
Sure.
weekend.
You know what? Like, you know what's better than nothing? I don't know, one. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is the plushie I have to sleep with and cuddle. Like, fucking, yeah.
Also, I just go to myself. That's another thing where I just think like, okay, like not only you're not in like touch with like the child, but think about what you would want in your own predicament. Like if you have to abandon your domicile and go live somewhere else that is strange, aren't you going to grab, let's say, your pillow, your bedspread, and if you're young enough to have a toy that you sleep with, or even if you're an adult and you sleep with her, okay, take that, you know, and then like, and then,
well, that's how unprepared
are
she
you
is.
are you a reader, a book? Are you at like, are you a this? Are you a that? Like, what are you going to need? Like,
She's
so
not
there's something
prepared for to think about any of that.
Oh,
and Kate
God.
is probably in so much of a state that she's not just gonna be like, oh, I need my book. Oh,
Of
I need my
course.
this. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go with you now. And like,
Yeah, I want to take, I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know
yeah,
how much room I'm allowed to take up. You know,
right.
I don't want to leave it all, maybe, you know. So yeah, that's all
Yeah.
unfortunate. I do have to say
Um,
though, as somebody who I'm not a big collector, you know this about me, but it did hurt something in my heart when she took out that box cutter and took it to her collectible in front of the therapist or whoever the woman was. I forget what her actual title was. Was she a social worker?
I don't exactly know.
Whatever she was. That woman. I think I wrote it down somewhere here, but anyway, yeah. I just watching that happen, and then just her criticize like, well, it's not really supposed to be played with, like to be rolled across my. Oh, but yeah, we'll do it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, oh my god, like fail, fail,
Yeah.
fail. Like,
First of all, I mean,
your
not to get
report
too into
card.
it, but like that whole scene pisses me off. Not even because of that, surprisingly.
Yeah,
Mostly just because I don't totally buy it, but we'll get to that.
right.
But more so that the therapist is supposed to be there to observe, and then she's not observing. She's like
Mm,
getting involved.
she's critiquing. Yeah,
Yeah.
actively critiquing.
Yeah. So anyway, that just sort of irked me. But and at that point, I'm actually with Elsie Williams, where she's like, well, that's not actually how it's like. I could show you what it does.
Right, right,
Oh no, fuck me. All right, fine, fuck me. You know.
right.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna tell anyone. There's so many different types of people, but I look at that house and I look at the style of it and the way the house is decorated,
Yeah.
and I don't buy that. Just like, you know, there's 4 little robots on a thing, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm a collector, and those, I'm like, that's like, what? No, this is art direction. Like, I don't totally buy it. Not to be a negative, but you know.
Well, I mean, because your walls are covered, like with
Right.
your
And and
fandom.
I know people who their walls aren't as covered, but they have. I'm not judging her by her size, but like it just felt like plants and then just like, I don't know, there's just 4 little boxes of robots in this one little shelf, and it's just part of her feng shui or something. I just didn't really buy it, like in her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got like the vibe. I mean, art direction, I think you're absolutely right. I just got the vibe like, okay, cold place. The only
Sure.
toys that are there are on display like a museum.
Yeah.
They're
I'm not
out
saying
of
she
reach,
needs
and yeah.
wood paneled walls in the garage with Kiss
Right.
posters and stuff, but like
free weights.
right, no, but like, you know,
And
she doesn't need
and a
X-Men. Like,
turntable.
I'm a nerd. Look at all
Sure.
the nerd shit everywhere. Because
Mhm.
we're trying to create a cool environment, but I just didn't get a. And obviously, you can have your passions in robotics and all that, but I didn't cringe because I was very aware that I was watching like a character and the note about she's into this, and we created a conflict. I'm aware of the script. I'm aware of the art direction. I'm aware of the direction. I was, hate to say it, but I was aware I was watching a movie, so I couldn't go on that journey.
Right. I feel like you mentioned the dog, and I remember thinking like it should have turned me against M3GAN when she killed the dog. But it didn't, because I don't know why. I just got this image. You mentioned John Wick before, and I'm just thinking Keanu Reeves in another franchise. But just I can just see her chewing gum or miming chewing gum and just kind of being like, shoot the hostage. You know, like, even though that's not what she's doing, like she's killing a dog. The dog is not a hostage. It's not a situation like that. But just like you attacked, you know, the person who is in my care, in my charge, and I have as much of a connection to her as she has to me, and so now you have to be eliminated, you know, like
Yeah.
that's clearly the way. Like I'm a robot. You know, my empathy is programmed for her, not for you. So let's just get rid of you so you'll never bite her again. And I don't know, I got it. You know, I still don't support it. It's something where you
Right.
got to sit down, Megan, and say, Megan, or I mean, again, here I'm treating her like she's a sentient entity,
Yeah.
and but I still feel like that's a stronger mode of approach than trying to program her, because she's already proven by pushing the parameters just in the cloud and in the internet and
Yeah.
everything like that, she can out.
Yeah.
You know, you put
And
your hand on top, she's going to keep. You
and
know?
that's not a bad thing, but a tale as old as this sort of subgenre has been around is like, well, we create the program, let's go update her code. She's already hacked her way around it. Like,
Yeah, right.
you're never going to be able to. The second you tell an AI story, the AI is always going to be able to outdo whatever.
Maybe they can give her a virus.
Well, that's what you do. Oh, sure. And that's also tale as old as time. A computer virus. Well, I love that in this movie. You could throw fucking water on her, like, and it already shorts her. And I mean, it's fun because it makes her go. Meh, 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 meh. But I'm like, this version of a cell phone, you can drop in water and pull out, and it will be okay.
Right.
She costs $10,000, and if you throw some water on her neck, she's all meh, 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 like.
Well, she's only
not to be logic police, but
she's a prototype. She's just a prototype.
Well, there's something you need to work on.
Yeah, she's like the Apple iPhone. Was there a 1? I don't even know like what the first one was called, but the first Apple iPhone. That's what she is. So
Yeah.
that's why 2.0, and then, you know, so on and so forth.
And then she'll become more realistic, and you know.
Yeah.
And the third one, they can just get Megan Olsen to play her without having to. Or is it Ashley? Which one of the
Mary Kate?
No, not Mary Kate or Ashley.
Oh, Elizabeth?
Elizabeth Olsen. Who's Megan Olsen? Megan Olsen's in something else. Anyway,
Caitlin Olsen. I don't
know. But
I would love to see her play a Megan.
Oh no, but I remember the first time like the poster came out. I went
yeah.
Oh, it's Elizabeth Olsen.
It's any of the Olsens. It literally is.
But I think more Elizabeth than the other two.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying it'd be a fun
Tomato.
It'd be a fun gag if they're like, well, we're not even going to bother with like the rubber face anymore. It's just gonna.
Well, if they decide to go in a meta direction and have a movie, they can always have Elizabeth Olsen play herself
in Megan the movie.
Yes, playing the robot. Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
I mean, you eventually, the toys. I mean, they do that a little bit. I mean, that was definitely a thing in the 80s that there was some thing that Reagan allowed to happen so that you can now, essentially animated shows were commercials for toys.
Right.
And that carried through the 90s and all that. And you always got like the movie of the Care Bears, the movie.
Sure.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you see that a little bit less and less, but still. That's another thing. Is we talked a little bit about the line about like if I had a robot, if I had a toy like this, I'd never want any toy again. They even use that as like a selling point.
Yeah.
For her. And within the company, and I just remember thinking, okay, $10,000 is an awful lot. But the thinking is that like, but it saves us so much more for the rest of our life that we're never buying toys.
Yeah. I
would like to argue a counterpoint though, because you spend $10,000 on this doll that can sing to her, it can draw with her, but like essentially you still need to buy a coloring book. She isn't a coloring book. She isn't a Nerf gun. She isn't a football. She isn't like if your kid likes My Little Pony, it's like, oh, well, you play with Megan. It's like, well, can I get like a pony? No, this is the only toy you're ever gonna need.
Well, if she can find ways to divert you with activities, I think that's also the theory.
Eventually I'm like, I get that she can listen to you and record memories and play mother therapist and blah, 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 blah. But eventually you're going to want to shoot your Nerf gun with some, anyway.
I do have
I,
a question for you, if you're ready now. I don't know if you want
oh
to
yeah.
continue your thought. Okay, because because you have collectibles and you sleep with like a lot of like stuff like in your house and everything like that, and you've had stuff like I remember where you used to live before. You had a lot of stuff in your room that like just surrounded you that you just go to sleep and you'd be fine. If you had your own kind of M3GAN equivalent, like whatever kind of like life-size thing you want, needn't be a little Elizabeth Olsen doll, but like whatever kind of like life-size fully operable thing,
Mhm.
regardless of what it is. Like if you have an idea of what you'd want it to be, I'd like to know that too. But regardless of what it is, do you think you'd be comfortable with it kind of putting you to bed, putting you and Tracy to bed, and then just kind of waddling over into the corner onto its little like charging beam or whatever? Like it's like almost like a little mouse pad that she sits on that lights up, that I guess recharges her or something, or optimizes her,
Mhm.
and just sitting there and not sleeping, not even like machine sleeping, but then just kind of sitting there and just kind of waiting for you to wake up. So
No,
then you can start thinking, would you be okay with any of that?
no.
Okay.
To this degree of like, here's the thing: if it had that level of AI, no.
Yeah.
But if it didn't have so much of a brain, and it was like obviously a few steps above some of the smarter toys we have now, like it could still like tuck me into bed, but like it couldn't learn. Like there's no way it could learn to kill a dog,
Yeah.
because that's not even what its CPU is capable of doing. Like then it'd be fun, because I would like to have like a Batman, and then like Batman tucks me into bed at night and then walks over and sits down and he's like, I am the night, and just like sits there. I'm like, that's fucking dope. Batman's watching over me. But if it's the thing that has the potential to learn to kill a dog, get it the fuck out of my room.
Yeah, you got a dog.
I do. So fuck
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
right. I'd worry about that too. I'd worry about so much. Like I had a nightmare last night for the first time in I don't know how long. And it was just because I happened to eat pancakes late, and I had a nightmare that a pancake attacked me. And
Okay.
no, I don't dream like that. And I didn't even know it was a pancake at the time. I literally had to lay there when you're still kind of like between sleep and awake, and you're trying to get back to sleep, and you almost are, but you're also trying to figure out what the fuck was that thing that was on me. And then I realized, oh, it was a pancake. It looked just like those pancakes I made before bed. And then I just fall asleep.
Really, really random, but the beginning of the movie just killed me. And I instantly like, I'm so fucking dumb. I'm 42, but the little perpetual pet like actually poops, and I'm like, it poops.
That doesn't surprise me.
But also, like, they make like little Tina dolls that wet themselves, and I just, the fact that you have a little smart, but I don't know. I'm just, I that happened in the beginning, and I'm like, I feel like I'm in for a good time, because this little toy can shit itself, and that's awesome.
Do you have any farting like collectibles or memorabilia?
Technically, yes, I have just farting, not poop. I have farting.
Okay, yeah, farting, yeah.
Well, because I have a Mr. Hanky. He's a poop.
But he doesn't fart.
No, the only farting thing that I could think of, that's not just like, oh, well, Ren and Stimpy, those, Stimpy does fart. No, I don't engage with it, but when they were making the in-action figures for
Oh yeah,
USQ,
yeah.
when they made Dogma, they made the shit demon.
Oh, uh-huh.
And while the other figure,
Golgotha.
yeah, and when you all the other figures were thinner, and it was obviously bulkier, but it was made of like a more vinyl material, and it had a little hole in the back, and it was the only toy they made that had a feature, which is when you squeeze it, it makes a fart sound. And the packaging, because my brain remembers stuff like this because I'm such a Kevin Smith nerd, it said like, squeeze my belly for the sound of smelly.
Yeah, that's right up your alley. It's like they knew.
I
It's
love
like
me
they
a good
knew.
rhyme. That is that's some Oscar Wilde level shit right there. Let me tell you. so yeah, because immediately, I mean, the movie sets me on a high, which with poop, and then immediately brings me down to like, I get, like horror movies have to have stupid characters. I don't want to harp on this for too long. I'm not the world's smartest guy, but when these two fucking adults are driving in a snowstorm this bad,
Yeah.
and like
Yes.
no chains on the tires, and
We didn't even know about chains until we took this trip, and I'm like,
Eddie, you and I, we both live in Southern California. We don't even and we both know
yes,
chains on tires, like
just from living in the world.
exactly. Between media
Yeah.
and just knowing someone's like, oh yeah, I went to the mountains this weekend, but you know, like, like how do you get to be that age with a child in your back seat into a snowstorm that bad?
Yeah.
Morons.
How do you study the DMV booklet and learn about driving on sleet and slush and black ice and all of that kind of stuff, and not know you need chains on your tires? And unless you have anti-lock brakes, in which case you don't need chains on your tires.
Yeah, dude, I learned in fucking driver's ed when I was 15 how to pump my brakes when I'm driving on a frozen lake. Like, and I'm never gonna do that. I learned it. Yeah. No. So fuck the two of them.
Yeah. Too much shit happens on frozen lakes too. But also the fact that he literally stops in the middle of the road. He literally in a snowstorm. Like, you two deserve to die.
Yes.
Sad for Katie. She's gonna miss you. I won't. Because if you're that stupid, yeah, you kind of had it coming. Yeah, like, he even made the comments as the truck is oncoming. And all that told me was, you're an idiot. Like, and I kind of laughed a little. I kind of chuckled when it happened the first time. I was sitting there going, oh my god, it's fucking idiots. Is this gonna be the movie?
Right.
And, is everyone gonna be this stupid? And then I see Allison Williams with her like, oh, okay, well, I'll download a story for you. Okay. It's downloading. Silence. And I'm like, we can't even converse with each other. You can't. You can't talk.
I mean, I was at least relieved, because when she's like, "Oh, I don't really have any books," and my first, like, I almost yelled at the screen, like, "Go download one! Just download one right now! Like, just download it!" And then she's like, "Oh, I can download one." I'm like, "Thank God you're not."
Yeah.
Thank God. Then it just gets awkward, but
then then once she's done, because it's like, that's when you can talk to her about, like, so what stories do you usually read? Like, you know, does mom read you different stories than you read to yourself? Or, you know, like, I mean, just anything, like, get something going, like
what stories, like, do you know Aesop's Fables? Oh my god, let me tell you about, like, Aesop's Fables.
Yeah, right.
Grimm's fairy tales. Like, I mean, everyone knows, like, Three Little Pigs, right? But like, what's your favorite? Like,
or even you can find a way in and just say, like, you know, what story your mom and I used to love when we were little, this and that. You know, and then she can tell you, did mommy read that to you? You know, mommy read that to me, or mommy never read that to me. You want me to read it to you? And then she can feel connected to her mom. Like, oh my god, see, there's so much if you merely take a moment to empathize.
Well, and now that you point that out about Gemma, and then we see her sister in the opening scene, like, these two girls, they're not too bright. They're not the greatest.
No. Smart enough to stay away from Florida, but,
you know,
not.
Well, here's the thing. She programmed. I mean, if it weren't for, like, the homicidal tendencies,
right?
She does program M3GAN to be a more caring. You know, I mean, how much do you want to consider it programming versus you know, something else? But
sure,
you are being outdone by a fucking android.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, we got to. I feel like it can't be ignored that, like, just the fact that we talk about how she's made by a toy company. But when you see her without the skin and the clothes on, like, that's not at this point, that's not a toy. That's a fucking android that a toy company is making and selling as a toy. But at this point, programming wise, it's not a toy. It's a fucking therapist / surrogate friend, mother, whatever.
Yeah.
And also, like, underneath, it's a Terminator. Like, it's so much that's being. Like, I'm just saying, like, of course, this whole endeavor was doomed to blow up in your face.
Yeah, and become a war machine.
Exactly.
Ooh, maybe that's the direction. They'll go with Jurassic World direction where they think they can control the Megans like the Raptors and like have them fight our wars for us and stuff like that. Oh my God. I would love,
And
see.
you could buy her little tactical outfit, you
Yeah,
know.
right. Every home is now armed with a M3GAN, not only to like protect your children, but protect your domicile, your home.
Oh
She
my
is like a
God.
full-on home security system.
Yeah, but
They just keep
also,
upgrading her and just making her more, making us less and less relevant.
oh my God, I don't want to get into it, but like, the Second Amendment, I need the Second Amendment because I need to protect my family. And it's like, now I got
Right?
M3GAN, you know.
It'll be like everything that preceded Wall-E that like makes us those big, like, gloppy, like useless, people.
Like, I like the idea of just like, even before you get to that, like this idea that you have a M3GAN, and when the greater public kind of learns, like, oh, it can learn to attack.
Hmm.
And then people like, then you have a whole kind of social debate about like how that's a bad thing, but then there's other people like, no, 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 but that's good.
Hmm.
Don't take away my M3GAN. And then people like, it should be a right. It's a right to protect my family and
Oh
shit. And then,
God.
oh,
It
there's
could
so
go
much
so dark.
it
It could
could.
be, but it could be
I
so
didn't
much fun. It
But
could
then I
really
love the idea
be.
of them just being used. I mean, obviously, if they won't have that face and that hair, but it'd be really funny if you created like a smaller scale, like a R-rated small soldiers,
Yeah.
like a small town skirmish. I
Uh,
was thinking, and to me, this gets us to Wall-E more. I'm glad you brought up the army one, but what I thought of was, and it's not a good movie, but iRobot,
oh, okay.
when, they all, have you seen iRobot
No.
with Will Smith? It's,
Yeah, I heard.
but all these robots are out there and like they all at once just all go bad and just start
Uh,
attacking all over the city. And
okay.
I'm like, that's like everyone's got their M3GAN, and then at one point they all snap. And it's
Hmm.
just like gremlins, like people running in the street, just M3GANs jumping out of windows and cars crashing because M3GANs are crawling on buildings and shit. And just
Right. Well, also, I would love it if the M3GAN that's in the cloud is like pure, like original source M3GAN,
mm.
but everything that they took the notes on that can be like stolen, like by another company and created by another company, but like with an extra bug or with extra capabilities or something like that. Like, so we've got like the fuck, I don't remember what the Transformers are called, the good ones and the bad ones. What would they?
Autobots and
There you
Decepticons.
go, the Autobots. I knew it was something bots and I couldn't remember. And the Decepticons. Yeah. So you have like Decepticon M3GAN like coming down and she's everything like that. And oh my God. And if they could get to a point where they do remove like the hair to make them more kind of like, army friendly, like or battle friendly or anything like that, because this is a liability. You can get pulled by this.
Yeah.
But if at some point, like after the alpha
Uh-huh.
M3GAN conquers the alpha of the opposing Decepticon M3GANs, like like takes her down, and all the other M3GANs are fighting around her and everything like that, and she can like pull a scalp off of like someone and just put it back on her head, and then just like reach into like some coal or something, some tar, and just give herself some eye makeup and just be
Rambo.
yeah, be Rambo and M3GAN, Ram 3GAN. Anyway, yeah, I want
And
that.
then she says, like in her M3GAN voice, like "Survivor war, got to
To
become
become
war."
war, just like Gizmo, and
Yeah,
and we're back to Gremlins, full
yeah,
circle. Yeah, I love it. Okay, we should write this. We should write all the
absolutely.
all the sequels.
Yeah.
You got it.
It's funny
Yeah.
because like what we're describing isn't even horror at this point, But one of the little things, I don't mean this as a bad thing, because I mean, first of all, the concept of genre, if you really take a step back removed, is fucking silly. And movies are movies and stories are stories. And a long, long, long time ago, someone wanted to try to categorize so that you know what to go to. And
Mhm.
here's a comedy, and here are comedies, and here's horror stories. And every once in a while, like I'm describing a movie, and someone's like, "Well, what genre is it?" I'm like, I don't know. It defies genre.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't tell you what genre Pulp Fiction is. Um,
Oh
but
God, no.
but sometimes things need to be categorized. And if we're talking about the walking into Blockbuster and you go to horror, I
Yeah.
don't think M3GAN really, like, I get why it's labeled horror, but when I watch it, I'm never scared. I think its intentions are to be clever. It's got stuff to say about parenting and listening and dependency and children and mental health and blah 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 blah
Sure,
blah blah blah.
sure.
And yes, it's got a quote unquote killer doll in it, but I think it's borderline satire, borderline camp.
Yeah.
Uh, but if we're going off on these iRobot and Rambo tangents, I'm like, I mean, the first movie vaguely is horror. But
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm not saying it was supposed to be horror and it's not. I'm not disappointed. It's just pointing that out there. I don't really consider this movie on the whole. And if there are horror fans that maybe aren't thrilled by it, yeah, I get it, because it doesn't really have any gore or kills, and it doesn't have like defined like this is your monster and this is
Yeah.
your heroine, and
Yeah. There were people who I spoke to who were actually really bummed out that it was PG-13 and that it quote unquote felt PG-13. Like I said, my expectations were on the floor. I just went in to see a movie that I thought was going to be at least kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Just, like purely on the surface, like it was going to satisfy that appetite. And it did, but then it started satisfying these other appetites, like where it becomes like this almost like this warning fable or tale for potential parents or anyone who's going to have a child in their stead, it ends up being having something that I could connect with in a great way. Particularly, I love the fact that Kate ends up becoming monstrous in the way that she's like throwing that tantrum full on like comfortable, like slapping her guardian across the face and cursing at the therapist and everything like that. Because and the whole time I'm watching it, I'm not thinking you spoiled brat. I'm just thinking, you poor girl, this is what they've turned you into. But then she can come back from it in just a few seconds, just because finally Gemma is listening to her. Gemma is talking to her about what's transpired between them in a way that she can recognize, that she can relate to, that she can acknowledge as a valid apology, and also like telling her like, you're supposed to be fucked up right now. That's another thing. I love that she's not telling her, like, you need to get over that, and you need to get over your parents, and you need to, she's telling her the worst thing that ever happened to you. So you should be, like feeling terrible and everything like that. And M3GAN can't always be there to make you feel better. At a certain point, you got to go through it, and I'm going to go through it too. And you're not going to be alone. And I fucking love that.
And what you're describing is precisely why I like this movie.
Yeah.
Because, and this is what I mean by when I like the screenplay, is that the fact that we're even discussing this, not only in a killer doll movie, but to me, robots and AI going bad is not an original thing.
No.
So the fact that when you see this movie, and that's in there, it corrupted AI and killer robot, but so much more than that. It isn't just about dependency on iPads. It isn't just about fear of AI taking over. There's a very emotional story about everything you just said. So while at the same time being a very 21st century version of the tropey AI beats.
It's also going to be, that's another thing, is I kind of felt, that's why I didn't need Gemma and Katie back, because for me, their story,
it's wrapped up.
Yeah. So, but Katie, at the same time, what I love about horror is the fact that like the evil, what we perceive, the perceived evil within any kind of franchise, you can only stop it. You can't ever destroy it or end it, So I understand this could just be life continuing, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see M3GAN kind of move on and try to, like I said, make it happen with another family. Maybe be better at finding weaknesses this time. I don't know.
That's
ways
why I
to manipulate them mentally,
Well, at least that's why I like the idea of like, you think you got away, and I learned my lesson, but like, the past isn't, now it's vengeance. At least that's something that can continue.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't want to say it's totally wrapped up, because I feel like there's some potential there for more. There are
Sure.
other sequels where I'm like, your story's over, and now you're just reaching.
Yeah.
But in this case, Gemma's main issue,
Yeah.
she learns her lesson.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily need a sequel.
That's also why I'm worried, because sometimes movies allow the lesson to kind of be unlearned and need to be
Oh
learned
yeah,
again in the sequel. I can't do that. I
yeah.
can't.
Well, you know what kills me with movies is when your two leads will they or won't they, and at the end of the movie they get together, and the second movie
Mhm.
something dumb happened and they broke up, and then the whole movie it's will they or won't they
Getting them
again, and
back
you're like,
together.
Jesus
Oh God.
fucking
It's like, can we please move forward? Like, can we please
yeah.
like find some strengths? That's another thing. It's like, if they Halloween 4, if M3GAN is the Halloween 4, and at least as far as the relationship is concerned between, say, Rachel and Jamie in that movie,
Mm-hmm.
and we go to like Halloween 5, where finally we've got, from the get-go, Rachel being the sister that we wanted her to be all throughout
Yes.
Halloween 4, and she does land there, certainly at the end of Halloween 4. We don't backpedal. She doesn't have to relearn the lesson. She, other things happen in that movie, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
discuss that someday. But so I'd like to see them getting along, certainly, and for them to not be the problem in each other's lives now, but for there to be something else, and for maybe, if they're going to be a big part of the movie and not killed off Adrian King style in the beginning of the second movie, then I'd like to see them possibly need something solved that neither one of them can solve for each other, that possibly M3GAN can at least present an option for,
Mm-hmm.
that's attractive. Or now she's scary and they got to outrun it. But see, that's not it.
But
See, even
yeah,
the way I'm saying it, I'm
we have
not
to
excited about that.
yeah, we have to create a new emotional obstacle or something for them, and I'm like, yeah, just bring in new characters, just do that.
Exactly,
Also,
exactly.
you're talking about them being a unit and moving on, and like, Eddie, let's be honest, Gemma's going to fucking jail.
Oh, right. That's true. Yeah.
Like, there's no like that to me would be a really hard sell, as if in the sequel she's not in jail,
That's
or
true. Or house arrest, at least.
yeah,
Like, no internet access, and she's got that
yep,
she's got her own shock collar
yeah,
around
she's
her ankle.
definitely fired. She's
Yeah.
broke. She's going to be in debt for the rest of her life for pay. Like, yeah,
But
um,
some like corrupt business person is going to want to court her, want to utilize her mind and make
and
and make money off of it.
she's so bored at home that of course she'll take that opportunity. And
Yeah.
this time will be different.
Ooh, what if they
I
like just
learned from last time.
but what if they just like hit, just grabbed all the essentials and just took off, knowing that she was going to be, I mean, they won't do this, but knowing that she was going to be arrested, and so they're outrunning the cops, so now they're on the lam, and they're like living in Mexico now or something, and under
Well,
assumed names, and they speak Spanish fluently now,
Sarah
and
Connor and John Connor, like,
yeah, what if it's like that?
well, you're talking
But
about those two. The thing I now want, because my brain popped into the robots, was I want Short Circuit 2, like Megan in a new city, like not to be like Scream 6, but like in New York. But like she gets separated, just like how Johnny Five gets separated from Michael McKean and all them, and he's walking around,
right.
and Megan's like walking around the city, and then like a gang wants her to like help steal car radios, and then later she gets beat up, and she makes her hair into a mohawk, and she gets like a cool jacket, and we get like different versions of Megan.
Megan should go to Florida.
Well,
Right.
bring that family in, and that's part of the conflict.
Yes. Okay. Now I know where I want my sequel to take place. I want it to take place in Florida.
And she like walks up to like Miami Beach and takes off her sunglasses and looks around.
Yeah. Right. Oh my God. So amazing. And then like people are on her about being so pale and like, hey, where's your tan? And but because she can get away with a lot. I mean, with
And then
the
if
crime
she's
that goes down in Florida, like
well,
she
if
can get
she's
away with a
freaking out and
lot.
attacking people, they're like, oh, it's just another person on bath salts. Like,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And then I want to see her wrestle a gator. Like, people think they're going to get rid of her, so they like tape her all up and throw her into a swamp, and then she just, I don't know, maneuvers the gators in a way that gets her free, and then she's like hitting the people who threw her overboard with a gator. And I don't know. It's so, the sky's the limit, really. You can go in any direction as
it
long as
really
it's
is.
big. Like, swing, aim for the stars. Like, just go big. Like it's got to be bigger.
Eddie, I need her to go to the Florida Keys and go to a drag show.
Yes, 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 yes. A world of
All
yes.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she gets up on the stage.
Oh, and since she's in Florida, maybe she can make her way to Orlando and be somewhere like somewhere in the Magic Kingdom or somewhere wherever the Avengers are, and she can get like a little Scarlet Witch going on.
And we bring it back
and be like an interactive like Scarlet Witch.
She puts on the little like the headpiece.
Yeah, the little headpiece and everything like that, and just walking around just like, and because she's the internet, she'll know. And she'll be like, "That's the Avenger I look the most like." And then she goes out there and she's taking pictures with kids.
I didn't even, my brain thought Orlando, and then went no, and then my brain was like Florida Keys. But no, well, first of all, just M3GAN does Florida. Like that's your
that'd be
But
great.
I just like the idea that she could access and record and play music. So like I love the idea that like she gets lost, she walks into a drag show, and someone like starts doing a number where they start kind of interacting with the crowd, but they get her on stage and she can just Bluetooth, and all of a sudden she's like lip syncing and doing like Liza with a Z or something, and just
I think she needs to go to a techno. She's more poppy. I can't see her like the old classics. I don't know if that's going to resonate with the new gays. I feel like maybe if we interlace them, if we do like a little like Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, Marilyn Monroe, and then Material Girl, and then I don't know.
Like I don't know, but you're talking about what we're discussing is playing to all audiences. So it's got to be modern. No, but just in any. Whereas I did go to Florida Keys just 3 or 4 years ago, and someone did do a Liza Minnelli number. So like, it's not a stretch. Like,
no, of
fuck
course
what the kids are listening to. Like, this drag queen did Liza Minnelli.
But people are going to be the fandom. I feel is going to be screaming for like, do Britney or something, like just watching her just give me more, give me. I think I want to hear. I want to hear M3GAN pant. That's what I think I want. I just want to.
I just need a little shoulder action. That's all I need.
Yeah, shoulder action can come in all shapes and forms. Like
and it's the boy who teaches her moves.
Oh, and then they're out there, doing this together. A little throwback.
Oh my god, I love it.
Okay, well now I'm going to be disappointed no matter what I see in the sequel, because we've come up with way too many ideas that I am absolutely enthusiastic to see. And if we do see them, I'll just be like, we thought of that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, I'm going to cry. What the fuck when the movie actually does go to the Florida Keys?
Yeah. Copyright the idea.
Before we go, I just wanted to point out nothing groundbreaking here, but Violet McGraw, who played Katie, fantastic little girl as far as acting goes. The things that they need her to experience and feel, my heart breaks for her when they have she's great, but also they do a really good job with like, I remember thinking this short, like she's going through a lot in the middle of like Act 2 leading into Act 3, and I'm thinking like, right before it started to happen, I'm like, she should maybe not be as put together. And then they started doing like a little bit of red, she started like having just slightly, I don't know, they did a good job of making her a little more pale and a little more, distressed when she needed to be distressed.
Unhinged.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, does M3GAN eventually kind of have a little bit of red or anything? Maybe I'm just imagining it, but I
don't know. I don't remember red, but
I don't. Yeah, but when she is separated from M3GAN,
right,
it feels like they did a good job of making her up to feel distressed.
Well,
she does a great job of playing everything. So
it's like she's going through detox almost. Hi boo boo.
No, the movie does a lot of things right. So,
it's fun.
So
solid. See it if you haven't seen it and you're still watching.
And we haven't ruined everything for you. But or if you're on the fence about it, I don't know. I think there's a lot of strengths here to it.
I mean, it did really well. At this point, I feel like most people,
at
least gave it a shot. But it's so weird. That's the other thing that's odd, though, is that it's only been 2 months, basically, like since
Mhm.
yeah. And it's
Came out the first week of January.
She already feels like, okay, she's been here. Like M3GAN has arrived.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not, nobody's like looking down their nose going like, who's the new girl? Like we're all just kind of like, M3GAN.
I mean,
give me more.
I'm still waiting to see as a franchise how this goes before.
Me too.
But you know, we'll all know when she's really arrived when the Funko Pop happens. He doesn't have one yet, and that's when we'll know.
She will. Eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't.
Right?
She's a recognizable property. Like, I won't say iconic, but I will say recognizable and financially
I mean,
lucrative. Yeah.
Sometimes they just take a while. Like the Purge pops came out like so many years after Purge. It's sometimes I don't know, but I could just see there's like a regular M3GAN pop, but I want to see the one that's like bent at the knees and leaning back a little bit with like she's mid dance, you know?
Ooh, what kind of M3GAN pop would I want? Oh, you know what? I want the one the post dog shake one with the hair that's all kind of matted up here. With the great big coat. Or okay, this is a little niche, but I mean, I want the all fours, the galloping.
Yeah,
I want that Funko Pop. It's an uncommon mold, I think, for a body for a Funko Pop, for them to have her on all fours like the way she is. But
yeah,
I if she were on my desk and I could just
yeah, they can,
because
you'd have to do something different with her head. But since they make Cocaine Bear like, and he's length, what they could do M3GAN, like they could do it.
Okay, cool. They could. I'm all for it. And also, like, just last little tidbit about that guy Brandon, that kid. I think M3GAN did the human race a service.
Fuck destroying that fucker.
Yeah, she didn't even kill him directly. She was just trying to scare him. And
I think he gets one of the 4 fucks in the movie. I think.
Yeah. And he
tells his mom to fuck off, right?
Everything that she says to him about, like, you know, mean little boys grow up to be mean men, and I'm just like, yeah, that's it. Because I'm looking at the kid and I'm like, there is no saving this kid. There is no, get rid of him. There is no, you know, happily ever after on the horizon. There is no like epiphany where it's just like, oh, now I see, you know, females aren't to be, you know, abused and exploited and manipulated.
Any lesson? Yeah.
No, there's no lesson down the line for this kid. So just get rid of him, and she did in a without killing him. So I admire that.
But you are happy he's dead, though.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Okay, because Gemma tries to tell Katie he's in a better place now, and I'm like, number one, you never say that. Number two, I don't. And number two, fuck that kid.
I love hearing you say this after you chastise me for wishing Tara's death scene in the opening of Scream 5.
What did Tara do?
See, she was kind of snobby about, you know.
Oh, stop! No,
she's older. She is a senior in high school. You're wishing death on a child, you monster.
Oh my God, you don't even believe that yourself.
No, but he's no. He's a fucking. In cinematic terms, he's a bully. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
No.
Who crosses lines like the putting the thing in her hand and then squeezing her hand around it.
Monstrous.
You fucking sadist. And then the fact that the other little girl, I don't even want to know what happened to her when she's like, I don't want to go with him. I'm just like, this kid's bad news.
Yeah.
M3GAN, go to work.
No, that's one of the times where, you know, I don't think the movie as a whole, I don't feel like, oh, it's a horror movie. But in that scene, like, one, he is a horror movie bully, so get out of here. But two, when crawling is such a little like cliche, but when she like gets down and gets ready to gallop at him and starts galloping, as a 42-year-old man, if I saw that coming at me in a forest, I would audibly go, fuck this and run. Like that's like, it's not gonna give me nightmares, but like, I don't like that. Get that away from me. Fuck right off.
I can see you saying all that while you're running. You're like, no, I don't like that. No, fuck right off.
Well,
Because
I
that's
would
another
though.
thing. That's another thing. The implications of him just like laying the doll there and just hovering over her. I'm just like, this is setting the stage for a whole lifetime of other people's pain.
And what is he?
And
Well, at first, him hovering over her, I'm like, oh God, is this going to get weird? And
yeah,
instead, he starts slapping it. I'm like, and what does this tell you about this boy? That this is his
exactly.
idea of playtime and like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh, this thing that looks like a little girl, but I can do anything I want to it. I'll start hitting it. I'll start by hitting it, and I'm just like, oh God. And it makes me so happy. It gives me such gratification.
I'm glad you
And
got that.
that appetite that Sam at the end of Five Cream
Oh,
that I get from the
just the
of the
stab, 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 stab. Yeah.
that it's the same thing with watching M3GAN with the clump and in my ear. I'm like, yeah, little bitch, hurts, doesn't it? That's what it feels like when other people inflict pain on you, you stupid bitch. Oh, I get so angry.
But look at you, you got fired up. The movie works. So good job,
Yeah,
movie.
it works. Yeah. Good job, movie.
Yeah, it works, and it WERKS. It works.
It works.
Thank you for joining me, Eddie.
Thank you, John Carlos.
We'll be back again. I'm guessing we'll be back for Scream 6 after I see it several more times.
Screamy.
Until next time.